Well, we've got some really interesting new X-Men 97 art that absolutely confirms one of the upcoming episodes being a classic 16-bit video game adventure. Let's take a couple minutes to check out the new art, the return of 3 big X-Men characters we didn't know were going to be in the series, and a take on an episode that's going to be absolute joy. Now, before we do that, though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to do it truthfully and transparently, so you are really in the know. Well, quite honestly, guys, X-Men the Animated Series is probably one of my favorite superhero cartoons of all time. They did a great job making faithful adaptations of very complex storylines, giving all the characters the time to develop and connect with audiences, and really took on mature themes that often explored social issues. Classic X-Men. Now, Disney Studios announced the follow-up with X-Men 97, and it was supposed to drop last year, but now we're hearing it's definitely coming our way in the very near future. Now, as we close in on the release date, we started to get a lot of really interesting art, and we know one episode coming up will be entitled Motindo. Now, what we are hearing is that this episode will see Jubilee and her boyfriend, Sunspot, a pretty interesting plot point we didn't know about, get trapped in a 16-bit video game by MOJO on her birthday, and apparently the whole episode will be animated in the 16-bit style video game. And not only that, there's 3 big X-Men set to appear, at least in that episode, that we didn't know about. So let's go ahead and check out some of the concept art. Now, the first piece of art just simply features Magneto in a classic 16-bit style. It's not really anything special, but it does give you an idea of what this particular episode could look like. Now, the second picture is where it gets interesting, because it features 8 X-Men characters, and 3 of them we haven't seen yet in the series. Now, obviously, we have Jubilee, Cyclops, and Sunspot, but then we have Magic, Longshot, and Havoc, along with Storm and Cyclops. Now, the fact that we have Magic, Longshot, and Havoc in this episode is more than a little interesting. In the original X-Men series, we actually got quite a bit of Longshot in the MOJO World episode, so they absolutely had to bring him back here. But the more curious thing about this episode to me is the fact that we're going to see Alex and Scott Summers together in their own episode. This could be of much bigger interest to many X-Men fans than simply visiting MOJO World or even the 16-bit animation. Now, honestly, I love the fact they're taking this kind of risk with the series, and they're doing an episode like this. The MOJO World episode near the end of the last series was one of the better episodes closing out the whole run, and the return to MOJO World, along with these new characters, well, I think that's absolutely perfect. I am really curious on how they're going to pull together the animation and how fans respond to a nearly 30-minute episode stuck in this 16-bit style. Honestly, I played X-Men games in this era, and 16-bit video games work perfectly fine for me, but it could be a little bit weird for people used to rather traditional animation. Now, we are hearing the X-Men trailer is fired up and ready to go, so that's going to be coming at us any day now. The deluge of new leaks and material has been something we haven't seen before for the show, and honestly, guys, I think Marvel Studios is just pumping us up for the ultimate release, which I believe will be before the end of this week. Hopefully Bo DeMeo and the rest of the crew are all ready for this, because this is going to be Marvel's most important Disney Plus event of the year. It needs to be a home run, it's got a lot of tradition behind it, and hopefully Marvel delivers on a really big promise.